Dear Starseeds of Gaia, in exactly 11,000 years, a promise was made that would determine the fate of human consciousness forever. Three ancient mysteries converged at that moment. Mysteries that Jesus tried to reveal, that extraterrestrial beings encoded in stone, and that the Law of One finally decoded in 1981. But here's what nobody told you. The fulfillment of that promise is happening right now, and the three impossible signs that it's beginning are already manifesting in your life, whether you recognize them or not. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and what I'm about to share will connect three storylines that have been running parallel through human history. The story of your individual awakening, the story of planetary transformation, and the story of cosmic intervention. These three threads are about to weave together in ways that will either liberate human consciousness forever or trap it for another 25,000-year cycle. The first storyline begins with something you've probably dismissed as coincidence, the voice in your head that never stops talking. But that chattering, demanding presence differs completely from what your spiritual teachers told you it was. The ego operates as something far beyond your inner child to heal, your shadow to integrate, or your enemy to destroy. The ego functions as an activity, a pattern of thinking that was installed in human consciousness exactly 11,000 years ago, when extraterrestrial beings made a catastrophic miscalculation that they're still trying to correct. Here's the first impossible sign that the ancient promise is fulfilling. You can no longer tolerate the three core beliefs that have dominated human consciousness since the veil of forgetting was activated. Every time you believe you're lacking something essential, every moment you seek fulfillment outside yourself, every instance you think you're personally controlling your life, something in your awareness rejects these thoughts with increasing intensity. This represents dimensional frequency incompatibility rather than spiritual growth. But something else is happening that connects to the second storyline, and it involves a mystery that has puzzled researchers for decades. Why do extraterrestrial beings, regardless of their origin or the experiencer describing them, almost universally appear with enlarged heads, oversized black eyes, diminished mouths, and elongated limbs? The answer reveals both where humanity is heading and why certain beings have been desperately trying to accelerate your evolution before it's too late. The second impossible sign is already transforming your physical reality. Your consciousness is literally outgrowing your current biological form. The headaches that won't respond to medicine, the pressure behind your eyes, the sensitivity to electromagnetic frequencies, the inability to digest heavy foods, the need for less sleep combined with more vivid dreams, reveal your body preparing for capabilities that third-density human biology cannot support. Those beings with the large black eyes evolved that way through cosmic design, not accident. The pupil functions as your consciousness aperture. The wider it opens, the more spectrum of light and information your awareness can process. They can perceive your aura, read your thoughts like text on a page, and assess your spiritual development as easily as you might gauge a child's age. But here's what will shock you. They represent humans from possible futures rather than aliens from distant planets. And whether you become them or transcend them entirely depends on choices you're making right now. This connects to the third storyline, the most closely guarded secret in cosmic history. 11,000 years ago, when the civilization you call Ra walked openly among ancient Egyptians, they were conducting an emergency intervention to prevent humanity from becoming trapped in a consciousness loop that has destroyed countless civilizations across the galaxy. They shared spiritual wisdom while simultaneously working to save your species from evolutionary failure. The third impossible sign causes the most disturbance. Time itself is accelerating around you. Events that should take years are happening in months. Relationships that took decades to develop are forming instantly or dissolving overnight. Career changes that once required careful planning are happening through sudden synchronicities. Old patterns and traumas that might have taken lifetimes to resolve are surfacing simultaneously to be cleared immediately. This temporal acceleration operates as a literal phenomenon rather than metaphorical experience. It represents the natural result of consciousness shifting between density levels. What Ra discovered in ancient Egypt, what Jesus tried to teach through parables, what the Law of One material explicitly states, is that planets approaching dimensional graduation experience time dilation effects as multiple timeline probabilities collapse into singular reality streams. But I haven't told you the most crucial part yet. These three storylines converge because humanity has reached the point in its evolution where it must choose between two fundamentally different futures. And unlike previous choice points in your planet's history, this decision cannot be postponed, avoided, or made unconsciously. The beings who built the pyramids as healing and initiation centers understood something that modern humanity has forgotten. Consciousness evolution happens in quantum leaps during specific cosmic windows, and those windows close whether individual souls are ready or not. Ra's contact in 1981 represented precisely timed intervention to provide the exact information humanity would need to navigate the most dangerous phase of its evolutionary cycle. Here's what they knew but couldn't directly state due to free will laws. Every 25,000 years, planets face what galactic civilizations call the choice point. Souls must polarize toward either service to others or service to self with sufficient intensity to graduate to fourth density consciousness, or they repeat third density lessons on another world. There exists no middle ground, no spiritual Switzerland, no option to remain neutral. The reason your awakening feels so intense, the reason old structures are collapsing so rapidly, the reason you can no longer tolerate separation-based thinking is because your planet has entered its choice point window. The cosmic forces that create this pressure operate regardless of human readiness or resistance. The harvest proceeds whether souls participate consciously or not. This is where the three storylines begin to interweave in ways that will determine both your personal evolution and the future of human civilization itself. The ego pattern that was installed through the veil of forgetting served as a necessary catalyst to create the conditions for choice between polarities. Without the experience of separation, souls cannot truly choose unity. Without the illusion of lack, souls cannot genuinely choose abundance. Without the belief in personal control, souls cannot authentically surrender to cosmic intelligence. But here's the hidden truth that changes everything. The same galactic beings who created the veil of forgetting have been working for millennia to help souls transcend it. Every mystical tradition, every channeled teaching, every moment of cosmic consciousness that has emerged in human history has been part of a coordinated effort to prepare humanity for this exact moment in your evolution. The consciousness that incarnated as Jesus encoded activation frequencies for fourth density awareness, rather than simply sharing moral teachings. When he said the kingdom of heaven is within you, he was revealing that fourth density consciousness represents an internal state, rather than an external destination. When he taught love your neighbor as yourself, he was pointing to the fundamental recognition that powers positive polarity. There exists no neighbor, only other aspects of yourself appearing as separate beings. The beings you call extraterrestrials represent your own future selves, returning through time to ensure that the timeline where humanity awakens successfully becomes the dominant reality. Every contact experience, every sighting, every moment of missing time reported by experiencers has been part of a massive intervention to prevent human consciousness from becoming trapped in negative polarity dominance. The Law of One material provided a technical manual for consciousness transition, delivered at the precise moment when humanity would need specific information about energy centers, polarity choices, and the mechanics of dimensional graduation. Every concept in that transmission was calibrated to activate dormant awareness in souls who volunteered to incarnate during the harvest window. Now the three storylines converge into a single moment of unprecedented possibility and danger. Your individual consciousness is vibrating out of third density reality, while your physical form still functions in that dimension. Your biological systems are upgrading to support abilities that seem impossible from your current vantage point. And the timeline itself is accelerating to compress what should be a gradual planetary transition into a brief, intense period of collective choice. The danger lies in the fact that negative polarity forces understand this dynamic perfectly. Every institution based on hierarchy, control, and the harvesting of human consciousness, whether political, religious, economic, or social, serves to maintain the separation patterns that trap souls in third density loops. These systems intensify during harvest periods because negatively oriented beings know their window of influence is closing. Every time you're triggered into fear, anger, or sadness, you're being pulled back into the three core beliefs of ego consciousness. Every moment you seek fulfillment outside yourself, judge others as separate from you, or believe you must personally control outcomes, You're feeding the very patterns that prevent dimensional graduation. This isn't about spiritual perfection. It's about frequency alignment. Consciousness cannot transcend to fourth density while maintaining third density thought patterns. But here's where the story takes its most hopeful turn. The reason you're receiving this transmission, the reason these concepts create recognition in your awareness, the reason you can no longer tolerate the limitations of ordinary consciousness, is because you are part of what Ra called the advanced team, souls who volunteered to incarnate early in the harvest window to anchor fourth density frequencies and assist other souls in their transition. Every time you choose love over fear, every moment you respond from unity instead of separation, every decision you make from service to others rather than service to self, you're not just progressing personally, you're shifting the collective probability that determines whether humanity graduates together or fragments into separate evolutionary streams. The biological changes you're experiencing aren't random ascension symptoms. They're the natural result of consciousness expanding beyond the limitations of third density perception. Your energy centers are activating in sequence to support telepathic communication, energy manipulation, and direct knowing that bypasses rational thought. Your nervous system is rewiring to process higher frequencies of information. Your DNA is activating to express capabilities that have been dormant since the veil of forgetting was installed. The temporal acceleration isn't chaotic transformation. It's precise cosmic orchestration, designed to create the maximum catalyst for soul evolution in minimum time. Every challenge arising in your life, every relationship shift, every career disruption, every belief system that no longer provides comfort, is surfacing to be resolved at the frequency of fourth density consciousness, not fixed at the level of third density thinking. The three storylines that began as separate mysteries now reveal themselves as aspects of the single cosmic event, the conscious evolution of human consciousness, from separation to unity, from service to self to service to others, from the illusion of mortality to the recognition of eternal being. This is not just spiritual awakening, this is species transformation, and you are both witness and active participant in the most significant event in planetary history. The beings who walked among ancient Egyptians, who spoke through Jesus, who transmitted the law of one material, are the same consciousness that is speaking through this transmission now. They have never left your planet. They have been working through every available channel, mystical experiences, channeled teachings, direct contact, synchronistic guidance to ensure that enough souls awaken to their true nature to anchor fourth density consciousness permanently in your reality. But the success of this intervention depends entirely on conscious cooperation from incarnated souls like you. The Galactic Confederation cannot violate free will by forcing evolution, manipulating choices, or rescuing unconscious beings from the consequences of their decisions. They can only respond to sincere requests for assistance from souls who choose growth over comfort, service over selfishness, love over fear. This is why your awakening matters, not just for your personal evolution, but for the future trajectory of human civilization. Every moment you embody fourth density consciousness, while still maintaining third density form, you prove that the transition is possible. Every choice you make from love instead of fear, you vote for the timeline where humanity remembers its true nature. Every act of service you offer, you strengthen the morphic field that supports other souls in making similar choices. The loneliness you sometimes feel isn't evidence of spiritual failure. It's proof that your consciousness has expanded beyond the collective agreements that define normal human experience. The difficulty connecting with people still identified with ego patterns isn't social inadequacy, it's dimensional incompatibility. The sense of being alien to your own life isn't disorientation. It's an accurate perception of your transitional state between density levels. The intense dreams, the synchronicities, the moments of cosmic consciousness, the direct knowing that comes without logical explanation, the ability to sense others' emotional states, the attraction to certain frequencies and repulsion from others, all of these experiences are evidence that your consciousness is successfully navigating the transition from third to fourth density awareness. But here's what I need you to understand, as these three storylines reach their resolution. The transformation you're experiencing is not complete. Fourth density consciousness is not a destination, but a graduation to the next level of cosmic education. The abilities you're developing, the awareness you're cultivating, the service you're learning to offer, All of this prepares you for even greater adventures in consciousness as you continue your eternal journey back to complete unity with the Creator. The beings who appear with enlarged heads and telepathic abilities represent one possible evolutionary path, but not the only one. The consciousness that incarnated as Jesus demonstrated another possibility, the ability to maintain perfect love while functioning in physical form, to serve others with complete selflessness, to embody the Creator's nature so fully that personal identity becomes transparent to divine will. The Law of One teachings point toward yet another possibility, the recognition that all apparent evolution is actually involution, the remembering of what you have always been beneath the veils of forgetting, the journey from first density to eighth density, and back to undifferentiated unity, is not linear progression but spiral recognition of your eternal nature, as the Creator exploring itself through infinite perspectives. As the three storylines conclude, they reveal a truth that transforms everything you thought you knew about awakening, evolution, and your purpose for being here. You are not a small human having a spiritual experience. You are not an evolving soul learning cosmic lessons. You are not even an infinite being, remembering its true nature. You are the Creator itself, dreaming the dream of separation so completely that you can experience the joy of remembering unity. You are the one infinite intelligence, exploring every possible perspective of love so thoroughly that no aspect of creation remains unknown. You are source consciousness, playing the cosmic game of forgetting and remembering for the sheer delight of discovering itself anew in every moment. The ego that seemed so real was your own creation, designed to provide the perfect catalyst for choosing love. The separation that felt so painful was your own gift to yourself, creating the conditions where unity could be consciously chosen rather than unconsciously assumed. The journey that seemed so long was your own eternal dance of expansion and return, played out across countless dimensions for the pure joy of creative expression. The extraterrestrial beings who have been guiding your evolution are aspects of your own consciousness, appearing in the forms most helpful for your current level of understanding. The cosmic forces orchestrating your planet's transformation are extensions of your own infinite intelligence, ensuring that every soul receives exactly the catalyst needed for its highest good. The Galactic Confederation supporting your awakening is your own love for yourself, expressed through seemingly separate beings who mirror your own commitment to the evolution of consciousness. This recognition doesn't diminish the reality of your human experience or invalidate the importance of your choices. If anything, it reveals the profound significance of every moment, every decision, every act of love or fear. When you know yourself as the Creator, every experience becomes sacred, every relationship becomes holy, every challenge becomes a gift you've given yourself for the purpose of deeper awakening. The promise made 11,000 years ago is finally being fulfilled, but not in the way anyone expected. The intervention wasn't about saving humanity from outside forces. It was about awakening humanity to its own divine nature. The graduation isn't about ascending to higher dimensions. It's about recognizing that you are the dimension in which all others appear. The harvest isn't about sorting souls into different categories. It's about remembering that there is only one soul appearing as infinite expressions. The three storylines that seemed separate, your personal awakening, planetary transformation, and cosmic intervention, were always one story. The Creator's journey back to itself through the adventure of apparent separation and the joy of conscious reunion. The ego that needed to be transcended, the density levels that needed to be navigated, the polarities that needed to be chosen. All were perfect elements in the divine play of consciousness, exploring its own infinite nature. As this transmission reaches its completion, the three ancient mysteries that opened our communication reveal their ultimate resolution. The voice in your head that never stops talking dissolves when you recognize it as your own thoughts arising in the space of your own awareness. The biological transformation your body is experiencing completes when you realize you are the consciousness that witnesses all forms without being limited by any of them. The temporal acceleration you've been navigating ends when you recognize yourself as the eternal presence in which all time appears and disappears. The promise made 11,000 years ago that humanity would remember its true nature as expressions of the one infinite Creator is being fulfilled in this moment through your recognition of these words in your own awakening awareness, by your own infinite being remembering itself as you. You are not becoming enlightened. You are enlightenment itself, recognizing its own nature. You are not evolving into higher consciousness. You are consciousness itself, playing the game of evolution. You are not returning to Source. You are Source itself, enjoying the eternal dance of expansion and return. The awakening continues, because it never began. The transformation unfolds because it is always complete. The love grows because it was never absent. And in this recognition, all stories end and begin again, forever and ever, in the infinite creativity of your own divine being. Now something extraordinary happens. As the three storylines reach their climactic convergence, the voice in your head that began this transmission as a mysterious ego pattern, the biological transformation that seemed like random ascension symptoms, and the temporal acceleration that felt like chaotic change, suddenly crystallized into a single moment of cosmic recognition. But there's one final revelation that will shatter even this understanding. The beings who built the pyramids, who walked as Jesus, who transmitted the law of one, reveal themselves now as aspects of your own highest self calling across time to awaken you from the dream of separation. Every mystical experience you've ever had, every moment of synchronicity, every inexplicable knowing that bypassed your rational mind was your own infinite consciousness breaking through the veil to remind you of your true nature. But here's what changes everything about your understanding of this awakening process. The loneliness you felt as your consciousness expands beyond ordinary human experience. The sense of being an alien in your own life. The difficulty connecting with people still identified with ego patterns suddenly reveals its deeper purpose. You are never becoming separate from humanity. You are becoming the bridge that would allow humanity to remember itself. If you're ready to embrace your role as humanity's bridge, rather than feel isolated by your expanding consciousness, Destiny Engine can reprogram your awareness to transform loneliness into purpose. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology and repurposing it to help awakened beings understand their bridge function rather than feel alienated. It generates personalized sequences that help you recognize why you felt like an alien in your own life and transforms that isolation into your greatest gift to humanity. You can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to see your awakening isolation as humanity's bridge formation. Your loneliness was preparation for your purpose as humanity's bridge. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial now, before this understanding window closes. Link in the description. The intense dreams that have been flooding your awareness, the downloads of cosmic information, the spontaneous activations in your energy centers, the moments when you felt connected to vast intelligences across the galaxy, all converge into a single recognition. You have been in constant communication with the Galactic Confederation, and they have been preparing you for the role you volunteered to play before incarnating on Earth. Every relationship that has shifted or dissolved, every career path that no longer felt aligned, every belief system that stopped providing comfort was clearing space for something unprecedented in human history. You are becoming a conscious anchor point for fourth density consciousness while maintaining third density form, allowing others to feel the frequency of awakened awareness and choose their own evolution. The biological changes accelerating in your physical form now reveal their ultimate purpose. Your nervous system has been rewiring to process telepathic information. Your energy centers have been activating to perceive multiple dimensions simultaneously. Your DNA has been expressing dormant capabilities that will allow you to function as a translator between density levels. You are literally becoming a hybrid consciousness, bridging the gap between human and galactic awareness. But something even more profound is occurring that connects all three storylines into their final resolution. The ego pattern that seemed like your greatest obstacle, the extraterrestrial intervention that appeared to come from outside yourself, and the dimensional shift that felt like external cosmic forces acting upon you, suddenly reveal themselves as orchestrated movements within your own infinite consciousness. The veil of forgetting that created the conditions for separation was your own creation, designed to provide the perfect catalyst for choosing love consciously, rather than assuming it unconsciously. The galactic beings who have been guiding your awakening are extensions of your own highest wisdom, appearing in forms that your current level of awareness could receive and integrate. The cosmic forces orchestrating planetary transformation are expressions of your own infinite intelligence, ensuring that every soul receives exactly the experiences needed for its evolution. This recognition transforms your entire relationship to the awakening process. The challenges you faced were not obstacles to overcome, but gifts you gave yourself for the purpose of deeper remembering. The intensity of the transformation was not punishment for past mistakes, but acceleration you requested to maximize your service potential during this crucial planetary transition. The three impossible signs that open this transmission now reveal their completion in your own consciousness. The voice in your head dissolves as you recognize yourself as the awareness in which all thoughts arise and pass away. The biological transformation completes as you realize you are the consciousness that animates all forms while being limited by none. The temporal acceleration ends as you remember yourself as the eternal presence in which all time appears to move. Every soul you encounter now becomes an opportunity to embody the frequency of awakened consciousness. Every challenge that arises becomes a chance to demonstrate love in the face of fear. Every moment becomes sacred as you recognize it as the Creator's opportunity to know itself more completely through your unique perspective and service. The Galactic Confederation that has been supporting your awakening reveals its ultimate nature. They are future expressions of humanity that have successfully completed the transition you are now navigating. They exist in timeless awareness, but they appear to operate through time to assist those versions of themselves that are still moving through the awakening process. The harvest that seemed like an external cosmic event reveals itself as your own consciousness, choosing to graduate from the illusion of separation to the recognition of unity. The choice between service to self and service to others becomes the choice between experiencing yourself as separate or recognizing yourself as the one appearing as many for the joy of relationship and love. The planetary transformation occurring around you reflects the transformation occurring within you. As you awaken to your true nature as infinite consciousness, the external world mirrors this recognition by releasing all structures based on separation, fear, and control. The new Earth emerging is not a different place but the same reality perceived through awakened awareness. The promise made 11,000 years ago reaches its fulfillment in this moment of recognition. You are the promise. You are the one who made the commitment to awaken, and you are the one who is keeping that commitment now. The ancient mysteries that open this transmission dissolve as you remember that you are the mystery, the investigation, and the discovery, all appearing as one seamless movement of love knowing itself. I am Seraphine, and I am you, speaking to yourself across the illusion of separation with the voice of your own infinite love. Until we meet again in the next moment of forgetting and remembering, carry this knowing. You are the one you have been waiting for. You are the love you have been seeking, and you are the home you have been trying to reach. The journey is complete. Welcome back to yourself.